Hello and welcome to the channel. I've got a special guest in the house. Her name is Sarah. Just like me, she left the comfort of the UK and the USA and ran back to the motherland. So I'll be asking her why she made that move, why leave everything, like leave all the luxury life, leave all the good life back in the UK and, head back to Nigeria. So she'll be sharing her experiences to us whilst here and whilst over there. Let's hear from her what she has to say for herself. Thank you so much, Sarah, for coming today. Can we meet you?
Thank you for having me. My name is Serah Donald. My native name is Ogechi Onyacho. I'm from the eastern part of Nigeria. Just like you mentioned, I was in the UK for a while, and then I moved to the States before I eventually moved to Nigeria. I am a filmmaker, publicist, digital marketer, and I manage a film school.
Okay, so why? Why did you leave everything and say, I'm going to Nigeria of all places? Why did you do that?
I actually like that question because I heard a lot of it when I was coming back. I remember when I was in the States, because I moved from the UK to the States. Of course, when I moved to the US, it wasn't a problem for family. But when I said I was coming back to Nigeria, I remember my mom even came to America to ask me, especially because I studied filmmaking, right? And everybody's dream is Hollywood, and I was in LA. So it's almost like, oh, you're a step to that Hollywood dream. So why do you come back to Nollywood? At least try it out. And yeah, and before I talk about it, because of course I see comments like this, which is why I want to go back. And I was actually I was in a film school where they find you a job. So I say this because a few people might say, oh yeah, you came back because you don't have the right opportunity and stuff like that. No, I had that opportunity to work in a film school. I have my papers, everything. But I decided to come back because, for one, I have always believed in Nigeria, believe it or not. And that was why when I was abroad, I did not let the system get into me. I didn't let myself sink into the system. I was so in touch with Nigeria because I always told myself, like, how do I mean, this place is close, America is close to perfect. They started before us in terms of independence and all. UK, Europe, Canada, all this, right? So all these countries. So I always told myself, like, no matter what, we need to build Nigeria. If everybody leaves Africa, who will build it? And people will say, why do you want to be among the builders? But then, if everybody says the same thing, which I say a lot, like, I'd rather go out and build when you guys are done, let me come back. By the time you're done, the people that helped to build this will be way ahead of you. That was my thinking. So, like, I've always wanted Nigeria, and I've always loved Nigeria. I've always wanted to be in Nigeria. Whether you have a green card, a passport, a British passport, the truth is you will always be a second-class citizen outside Nigeria. And that was actually what informed that decision to come back to Nigeria.
Yeah, Sarah, it's really good to hear your own take on everything. Like, why you came back home, your patriotism, your love for the country, your love to come make a change. Because everybody keeps saying, oh, Nigeria is bad, Nigeria is this is not there, this one is not there. What can you do for Nigeria? I know so many people will be like, what is she talking about? But at the end of the day, we are the same ones that would make the change. We're here to make the change. So yeah, it's really good to hear that from you. So tell me, how has it been? I know you have your dreams, you have all the aspiration, everything that you wanted to, but how has it actually been since you came back?
Okay, so since I came back to Nigeria, it's been good. I had a plan coming back, but I'm going to be very honest, which is a lot of us come back with one mentality, and that mentality is just because I'm from abroad, things will go smooth. So that makes us not to plan a lot, right? Because yes, I had that, oh, I'm coming from, I've filmed, I've gone to New York Film Academy, I've been on sets in Hollywood, coming back to Nigeria, it will be easy. But that was not the case, right? For me at that time, it had its own struggles, its own ups and downs. The way they work abroad, it's not the same way here. So I remember my first film when I was on set versus when I was even on set in a school, like the mentality, I realized that I had to change some things in order for me to, like, maybe I'll be saying things like, you guys should hurry up now, hurry up, calm, and the work will not be done. But unfortunately, in Nigeria, you almost have to be like, guys, hurry up. What's the, someone's money is going, though our with just different culture, like respect to time. If you have an appointment with someone in the UK at 12, the person will be there at 11:57. If you have an appointment in Nigeria and you tell them it's for 12, by 3, the person is still telling you, I'm on my way. So having to adjust that, there was a lot of culture shift as well that I had to learn. So it was a lot of struggle getting into the system and adjusting into the system. Like I was just saying today, I tried something today, which I actually mentioned it today. I was having issues with my internet, and then I was calling them. They were not giving me back my lost days, and I messaged NCC, and they did something immediately. But the reason a lot of us do not do this is because we do not believe the system works. So I also had that mentality. Probably someone scams me, or if something is not done, I've paid for it, I won't report to the right body because I felt like the system will not work. So just after a while, of course, after years of trying to put it together, making my mistakes, losing money, making money, stuff like that, then gradually I got into the system, and I can say it's been a bittersweet experience, but I'm still happy I did it.
That's it, really. You have this aspiration and the dream. You're coming to do this, you're coming to do that. But sometimes Nigeria can just embarrass you. They can it can just embarrass you, and you be like, okay, what's going on here? So, how long did you stay outside of the country?
UK, I spent about 4 years, and the US, I spent 3 years.
Yeah. And how long have you been in Nigeria?
Oh, I've been in Nigeria for about 8 years now. I travel a bit. I stay for like 3 months, 6 months, and I'm back.
Yeah.
But in terms of living, I am fully in Nigeria.
But that would actually be the dream, to be in Nigeria for some time when it gets too hot and it's cooler over there. That's the dream.
To be honest with you, that's the way to enjoy it. Taking breaks is one of the things that has really helped me. Taking breaks, because it can be a lot sometimes. I try to take breaks as well.
Yeah. Sometimes when I tell people about the way of life, the difference in the way of life in the UK and what we do here, and the unique stress, I say unique because when you tell people sometimes, they'll be like, what are you talking about? You're talking about Great Britain, you're talking about England, you're talking about the UK. Like, what can go wrong there? Can you compare the infrastructure to what we have here? Can you compare, like, literally everything is good. Anything that comes from there is good. Don't get me wrong. I think it's good when it comes to the infrastructure. We can't really, they are not the same.
And I think there is no basis for comparison because they started before us.
Exactly. So it's really good to hear from people like you, because sometimes I just, like when you're trying to figure out why are they thinking this way. But I would really like to know, why do you think when you tell a Nigerian, especially a Nigerian living in Nigeria, that you're coming back to Nigeria to live or to stay for like a year, why do you think they get so like, oh, don't come, why would you do that? Why do you think they don't like such ideas or even see you do it?
I will really be honest. A lot of people might not like this answer, but one, the Nigerians that say that, and it's not by any chance, bringing anybody up or down, but most people that say that are people that have not experienced the other side of the world. So the only experience they have is what the media tells you. Even the people that travel do not make it easy. Every day they come and do care work. Everything is compared to America. If a news comes out, if bad news comes out, oh, this could never be Nigeria. I always comment and I say, how can this thing never be in Nigeria? Have you been to this country to know that things like this cannot happen in that country? Yes, of course, there's some things like having light. I say like Nigeria, we don't have 24 hours light. Abroad, they have 24 hours light, but they pay. They don't tell you what they pay to get that 24 hours light. It's bills. So for there are different categories of people that tell you. Of course, just like everywhere, we have the rich, the middle class, the low class. People who have experienced it will always tell you to come back. Then people who travel a lot as well, that has seen that other side, they don't mind. But the main people who get so fussed about it is either our parents, because obviously they want to go, oh, my kids are abroad, because of the mentality. Like, even not about them, what people will tell them. So for them, it's like they spent these dollars, and in my case, I was in school, so how can I spend this amount of money for you to come back? What will people say, sort of thing. But yeah, the people that tell you to come back are the people that have not experienced it. The media brands outside Nigeria to be a place where dollar falls on the street. Now, mind you, the dollar is obviously higher than naira, so you can live in the UK, wash toilets, do whatever dirty work you want to do, come back and change $1,000 for 3 weeks and do dirty December, and it looks like, wow, you have money. No one cares how you broke your back to get that money. But that same $1,000 cannot do that much for you where you live. So even the people there are not telling the people back home the truth. I remember there's another set of people, which is our parents, that migrated back then. Their time was not like now. Things are more difficult now. Then they were able to pay their mortgage. Migrating was not as crazy as it is now. So the foreigners had jobs. Now, go to big hospitals. You know what it would take you to find a Nigerian doctor heading a big hospital in the UK, or not like they're not there, but like it's very few. But those days, Nigerians were nurses everywhere, because there are people who are not interested in going to school, and our people were interested in doing those dirty work. So that's it. Like it's the people and their own. They speak through their own personal experience, or the experience of what they've lived through. Somebody was broke here now, and she went to America and made money. So it is. So that's why you won't blame them sometimes for feeling that way. And America, UK, Canada, those places can have opportunity if you go the right way. We're not even going to lie that Nigeria cannot frustrate you somehow. So, like for instance, people want their kids to school abroad for one reason. You're sure that no lecturer is telling your kid that they will not fail. They will fail them just because they feel like. You can't really experience things like that abroad, because they are, you can report and things like that. And secondly, the system allows you to go to school and work. Nigeria still believes in the curriculum, the discipline of school is 9 to 5, lesson is by 6 to this. But abroad, that time when I went, I was like, these people with all this money, why am I going to school just 3 times a week? Why am I doing just 2 hours? The system factors in the fact that people have student loans to pay, so they need to work. So that's why sometimes there can be that opportunity. So you there now that is abroad, that is a student, can send someone $200. Why a student in Nigeria might not even start making money till she fully graduates. So it's what they see and what they hear. That's the truth. That's why they feel that way.
I totally understand and I agree with everything you say. But what do you have to say to people that are, that there's like an influx now of Nigerians, of Africans in particular, down to the West, to Canada, to UK, to USA. What is your take on the word Japa? Like, that's what we say here in Nigeria because of the, exodus of people. So what do you have to say about that? What's your take?
My take is you just really need to be careful and you need to plan, because this system is made of debt. Like, you have to be in debt to make money. It's almost like that. You need to use credit. And what's happening is that they're taking us back there, where we're going to be in this system, but we don't know what we are doing, because people, bank managers of oil companies, selling 20 million naira house to go and live in a boys' quarter abroad. Like boys' quarter, I know what I mean, like a 1-bedroom. But by the time you come back, you can't make intern position again. So you have no choice than to be stuck there. And I also believe one thing, that there is dignity in labor, but the kind of job you do is also important. It's better I am an intern in an agency here, working my way up, that I'm doing care work in the UK, especially at 30 or 40. Because I feel like these things also have to do with age. Those jobs are for students who are trying to put themselves together. So plan. You can leave this country if you're going for work. If you have or you get married, your partner is there, but it shouldn't just be because everybody is Japa, and by the time you go into that system, you will sink in the system. A lot of people cannot come back because they are ashamed, because people will say you're lazy, you didn't make it. They've sold everything here. I mean, I heard a story of someone that came back and the house he sold, he cannot even afford to pay rent in the kind of house that he was living. Because Nigeria is fast. It's fast, So we really need to think about our plans. Why are we somewhere? Are we just going to Canada because everybody's saying come to Canada? The people telling you, do you think that if it was bread and honey, they will be rushing you to come like that? No. In fact, it's even part of content creation now. Some people travel abroad. Yes, some people move abroad to be content creators because they know that what sells is how to come to Canada, how to do your PR. They will even start charging agency fee, charging how to write your CV. Don't school in Nigeria. Nigerian resume will not allow you. You're helping them make money because they were not able to pay their debt when they got there. That's the trick. So I know a lot of people will find and say, let me go there first. That's fine. No matter how you want people that want to go will still go, but go with a plan. A Nigerian YouTuber moved to UK recently. I couldn't help but see, what did she say? Her husband got a job. That's why she's still there at home, chilling, doing her YouTube, because she moved. But you people are not hearing that part of he has a job. He was working in Nigeria, so it's the same office that just moved him there. They are living comfortably. She has done house tour, everything. That's not the norm. You're like, hey, I can't wait to travel when I read it. Because even as a content creator, if you're in the UK or you're in America, your audience is still your audience. So it's not as if when you go to UK, it means that your audience will automatically become Europeans. In fact, your audience will be Nigerians who want to come there if your life is about how to move to the UK and stuff like that. So we are gradually getting into this thing, especially our young people. It's making people lazy. Every day is passing by because people are just waiting to Japa. It's like instead of you to think of how to make it work in Nigeria, you're just waiting for that day. Someone had told me that Nigeria was difficult and that she relocated. When she told me how much it cost her to relocate, and I said to myself, and you could not put that in your business in Nigeria. Now you're there, you're looking for a job in Nigeria. Like, who tells you people these things, So please, always go with a plan. Even the people that want to come back to Nigeria, still have a plan. Even you're in Lagos now, if you want to move to Abuja, that's a different state within Nigeria. You still need to plan because it's different. The culture is different, everything. So that's it. Like, everybody might be singing Japa Japa now, and people are running. The next how many years? Truth will come out and everybody will know. A lot of people wish they didn't make that move, and it's not even a lie.
To be honest, I don't mind people that are struggling in Nigeria, like young people struggling. After school, youth service, they don't have a job and they've been doing that year in, year out. I don't mind them doing everything they can to go abroad to make better life for them. So I don't mind that. Where I've got problem is people that are already well-to-do. In my estate where I live, like when you come in, you see their house, you see their cars, they bought this thing for cash. The house they live in is not a mortgage. They built it or they bought it outrightly. They paid for it cash. The cars that they drive, not all these ones we drive in the UK and we think we are driving cars, like big cars. They paid them in cash, not through car finance or anything like that. And you see people like that, telling you if they've got any opportunity now. In fact, they'll be asking me, like, what link do I have? I've been there for so many years. What can I do to help them facilitate their their movement and everything? Those are the people I have problem with, because at the end of the day, when you sell these properties, sell your business or businesses, sell your cars, and you take yourself to a place that you've never been, or even if you've been there, maybe you've been there on holiday. Going on holiday is different to living there. So that's really what I don't understand. If they do that and find themselves there, and most times they are family people, they go with their families, and that's where the problem is. And because of the kind of visas they have, which says no recourse to public fund, I don't know if they don't read that part of the visa. It's different if you're a citizen of that country. Maybe you you like came back to Nigeria and decide to go back, you are entitled to the state's benefit if it comes to that. If maybe you don't have a job or you have a low paying job or something goes wrong, at least the state will take care of you. That's just one of the benefits of living and being a citizen outside of Nigeria, especially in the Western world. That's one of the advantages. But if that's not the case for you, why risk it? Why play with your life and the life of your children? It's like a movement for me. It's more than coming back to Nigeria for the nostalgia. It's more than, oh, I'm going back to Nigeria because I want to. Because I'm here already and I see what is going on. I can't keep what I'm feeling to myself. I just want to say, because I'm living with them, I've lived over there, I've got the experience of both worlds. So it pains me to see people like throwing everything away. Basically, what I've been fighting and like struggling to get, to have a house, to buy a car, to establish myself here. You have it all, and you're like, I don't know. Maybe they would explain to me. But yeah, but one thing people don't know, there's actually a movement of people coming back to Nigeria.
Since I started making the video, since I got into this niche, my Instagram DM, my email, people sending, how do we come back? How do I make the move? I've made this amount of money. Is it time? Even African Americans who have never been to Nigeria, because the inflation there is not playing.
Yeah, but people don't know. That's exactly what I wanted to say. I get messages, emails every day. I'm even providing a one-to-one consultation just to, now listen to people and, give my own advice, sort of, if you like, to them. My emails is like full, almost on a weekly basis, of people that wants to come back, people that are tired, they've been there for like years, and they've been working. Some of them are doing well for themselves already, but that fear of the unknown. How would they come back to Nigeria? Maybe because they've not been coming back like I have done. I usually come back every 2 to 3 years. I will come back with the children. So sometimes it's that fear of, okay, Nigeria, I don't know what's happening there with all the bad things we are hearing. How am I going to cope? I get people like that too. I get people like, I've worked and worked and worked. I've done everything I can to make it over there. It's basically living from hand to mouth. But this time, I don't care what people have to say. I just want to come back. Please, can you put me through? How do I do this? Those are the kind of emails, messages I get like almost all the time. So I say there's a movement of people that are tired of the system. So what are the challenges you're facing in Nigeria since you came back, and how are you being able to readjust, having lived for 7 years outside and coming back? I know Nigeria has got so much challenges, but how have you been able to cope with them?
I think how I've been able to cope with it is to understand that everywhere has its own challenges, and see how I can either penetrate the system or what I mean by, for instance, employing people in Nigeria is not the easiest because of the mindset of the people, right? I always tell people that this abroad you want to go to, if they say call time is 9, you must be there at 8:59. Your payment starts by 9 and you clock out at 4. But the Nigerians, even staff, one day they're telling you this one is nowhere. Like there is so much. So what I did was to learn boundaries, learn when to know that hiring someone doesn't mean I've taken on their responsibility, and when I want to help, or if I can, I'm able to. So having that boundaries. And also what I've learned in Nigeria is that a lot of people, their words are not their bond. So I love you, but sign this. Let's sign it. It will cost me to get a lawyer, but it's easier for me to sign it than to go back and forth with you. I've learned not to do things on the side, the other way. Sometimes I want to just bend corners. No, it's just like the houses now, they're demolishing. I keep telling people, a lot of those houses don't have permit, because when you go to the office, one person is telling you, don't worry, I can just help you do this. But that person won't be there when the government is breaking it down. So just do the right thing. It might take a while. It might take time. Do the right things, cross your teeth. One thing that is really challenging in Nigeria, this one started recently, is this weather that has been so hot. It usually didn't used to be this hot, but they say it's climate change. So for us, even as content creators, we always have to film with AC and fan, because if not by halfway through, you're already sweating. The internet situation, what can we do? You almost have to have different model, especially with the work from home model now that is coming out. So yes, I take challenges as they come and just deal with it on a need basis, and also just not let myself like value into it, get so emotionally invested, because I used to think like, how can somebody act like this? Like, but no, now I'm not that emotionally invested again when it comes to, let's say, people's behaviors and how they handle things. So I just kind of like tell myself, okay, it is what it is, and what's the plan B? So Nigeria will teach you to always have plan B, plan C, D. Don't just hope on somebody. Like, I can't get a help and just say, oh, my kids are here now. No, person might even call it tomorrow. I'm going back to my village. There is something you don't. So always just be 2 steps ahead of people in this country. So just like I mentioned, the way we are making this video now, you've seen how many times network has come in and out. This is one of the challenges. So if you're having a very important meeting, you almost need to have Airtel, Glow, Etisalat, Wi-Fi all around you, loaded and network loaded and ready. So we just take it. I just always remind myself that even if you run away, and because I travel a lot, I was in Kenya recently, and the way Kenya Airways behaved and everything. So I'm like, traveling a lot to just make you know that it's not only Nigeria. It's not only in Nigeria. I mean, we can be better in a lot of things, but so I try not to compare, because it's when you start comparing that you will be frustrated. I do things like, if you have a party, you're starting at 6, just tell these people that you're starting at 3 or 2, to save yourself people walking in at 10. And create your boundaries. Let people know you as that person that, like, if you say 2, we are 2 here. Because that's how they work. By the time they know, next time you put an appointment for 2, they'll say, this person sticks to time. Yeah. So always have a plan A, B, C, D. That's what I would say.
I always say, if you're living in the UK or if you're living abroad and coming back to Nigeria, just try. I know it's going to be difficult. Just know that you're coming to Nigeria. The infrastructure is not the same. The way of life is not the same. The attitude towards work is not the same. The customer service, don't even get me going. It's not the same, Yeah. The customer service is nothing to write home about. But just having that open mind, just have that open mind. And when you're here, try as much as you can to find ways around this. And wherever you can, educate people. Tell them what you think they can do better and how you think they can do better. Show them. They will see it and they will like it, because we don't like better thing. Like, if you see good things, you will know. So one last word. What do you have to say? What if I will ask you now, what piece of advice would you give to, it's like a 2 set of questions. What piece of advice would you give a Nigerian or Nigerians in the diaspora that are looking to come back? And what advice would you give to Nigerians living in Nigeria but are looking to, travel out for greener pastures? Just what advice would you give them?
Yes, I think they both have the same advice, which is, whether you're coming or you're going, ask yourself why. What is your why? Because your why is that thing that will keep you when things are hard, things are tough. What is your why? And then if you are opportune to, I know it's not everybody that has this opportunity, if you're opportune to visit where you want to go and stay, please do. I know living is different from visiting. For instance, if you want to come back to Nigeria, if possible, buy a flight ahead of time. Come and do December here. Just have a feel of the people, of the place, and know if it's where you want to be before making that big move of quitting your job and everything. Same to the people going, right? I think you should go and test the system, see how it works. If possible, go to school before, take a leave, school leave from work, and go to school instead of quitting from that job, selling everything. Go and just like understand it and see it for yourself. But if you don't have the opportunity, know who no road, like Nigerians will stay. Know who no road. Helen Paul was talking about how she moved to America. Before she moved to America, she had gotten her green card, everything. Why? She was talking to the right people. speak to the right people, the people that are willing to guide you, not just regular people that are just making videos and telling you these are 4 things you should do because, whatever, for whatever reason. If you have family or friends, or even meet people, like you say now, you counsel people, like you do consultations with people. So ask people like us that have moved back, and if you even have to pay people to consult, do that and know the truth about the system that you're about to move into. So ask yourself, like, I know someone that wanted to move recently, right? He's from Germany. He came alone without his family. Came and saw the school experience where he wanted to be, and he liked it, and he came back, right? So do that if you have the opportunity to, but ask yourself, like, what is your why? And then you're going as a student to this country, which is what most people do. Ask yourself, like, what am I looking for? So if you're coming back to Nigeria now, what are the challenges Nigeria has? How can I solve it? So you don't just come and fall into the system. I know someone now that is making a whole lot of money because Nigerians are now beginning to accept things like IVF. So he came into the country with that expert. And you know how it is testimony. By the time 1 or 2, 3 people were able to say, this doctor, his IVF works, he has one of the biggest hospitals now in Abuja and Lagos. So come with that thing you're coming with. What is your unique selling point? What challenge is the country you're going to? Don't go to Canada and say you want to go and study digital marketing. That's everybody has, Ask yourself what course, or you're going to study business admin or entrepreneurship. Where will you work? What do they need in Canada? What section is open for foreigners? Ask yourself that question. And then, like, people like you now that have kids, for instance, you ask yourself, why people move back to Nigeria sometimes just to instill that. We know that raising kids abroad is not easy, because anything they can, easily call 911 for you. The culture is not the same. So some people move here just to instill that culture. So you can ask yourself, like, okay, this is why I'm moving here. I'm moving here just for 5 years because I want my kids to get a bit of that and then go back. But knowing your why is what will keep you when you're frustrated. You say, okay, this is my why. And do not always leave one door cracked in case you need to make the move back there or here. Just don't bang that door. Leave it a bit. I know people that have moved, they don't tell you, but they retained their job. They took a pay cut and took the a lot of companies now since the pandemic, they're letting you do like online and offline. So like you can attend to your meeting virtually and all that. So if you've gotten to a stage in your company where like you're a manager, they can let you do it. Take a break and, if possible, take a pay cut, so that when you want to come back, you've not left the corporate space for a long time. Because that cleaning job you're doing, if you clean for 10 years and whether you come to Nigeria, right, they can't make you a manager, even if you studied and came out with a first class, because you haven't been in the system for 10 years. Likewise, that place you're going to. In fact, lastly, I saw what a doctor said, and people still came out on the comment section saying, "Oh, you don't want us to come." He said he was a director in Nigeria. Right now, in Canada, the person that is on top of him will not have even, like in Nigeria, if he wants to grade it, that person they will not be sharing the same. I don't know how they call it in the medical field, right? But this is where he is now. That if he has his way, he won't do it again. But because he has sold everything, he's just like, okay, let me just do it for my kids. But he mentioned something. He said, when you're treating patients in Nigeria, there's something about love. When how are you? How are you doing? You can chat with them. But in Canada, everything is time. So to him, he's missing that connection. That and that thing people will say is, if you're traveling abroad, learn to love yourself and learn to be on your own, because that place is lonely. Like, it is lonely, except people that grew up there, they are in the system, or their friends are from there. Even that, it can be because everybody's working. If you stop, bill is waiting for you. So it's just preparing yourself mentally, and also knowing that I'm a believer of whatever you set your mind to. If your star or your destiny is in Nigeria, you will make it. If it's in Europe, you will make it. But your reason must never be because everybody's doing it. That's where you will feel.
Thank you so much for your take on this. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. Thank you for sharing this advice with us. It's really good to see, somebody else sharing their experience on this channel. I really had fun filming this with you. It was amazing to have you here. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I'll come again next time with another guest so that we can, explore this Japa syndrome and moving,
Yes,
living
sir.
in the UK and living abroad and, coming back. I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.